Okay, so now we're going to go over problem 7, 8, 9, which are determine the number of real solutions of the following quadratics. So remember, we talked about this. In order to do this, we're going to use what's called the discriminant. And this is on the study guide portion of your notes. The discriminant tells us the number of real solutions. And so remember, the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So we have to look at these problems and we have to find a, b, and c. So remember, a is the number in front of x squared, which will be 6. B is the number in front of x, which will be negative 2. And c is the constant, which is negative 3. And we're just going to plug that into b squared minus 4ac. So if the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, I can replace b with parentheses, just like we would do in the quadratic formula. And b, so b squared would be negative 2 squared minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 3. And then when we simplify this, negative 2 squared is positive 4. Negative 4 times 6 times negative 3 is positive 72. We add that together, we get 76. And I remember, with the discriminant, what we're looking for is if the number is positive, then it has 2 real, emphasis on the word real, roots. If the number is 0, we have 1 real root. And if the number is negative, we have no real roots. And the roots that we have are called imaginary, or I prefer the word complex. Okay, so 76. Obviously, 76 is positive. So when it says determine the number of real solutions, this has 2 real roots. And that's all we're answering here. Okay, so number 8. We're going to do the exact same thing again. So we're finding a, b, and c. So a is the number in front of x squared, which is negative 2. B is the number in front of x, which would be negative 1. And c is the constant, which is negative 1. Plugging this in, I always write b squared minus 4ac first. Then change your variables to parentheses so we don't mess up when we're plugging it in. So b squared, b is negative 1, minus 4 times a, which is negative 2, and c, which is negative 1. So negative 1 squared is positive 1. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, but positive 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. And 1 minus 8 is negative 7. So obviously, negative 7 is a negative number. So there are no real roots. I could have complex roots, but they are not in the real number system. And then lastly, number 9 here. With number 9, we have to pull out a, b, and c as well. So a is the number in front of x squared, which is 9. B is the number in front of x, which is 6. C is the constant, which is 1. So plugging this into b squared minus 4ac. Changing to parentheses so I can plug in without mistakes. B squared, so b is 6 squared, minus 4 times a is 9, times c is 1. So 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36, times 1 is still negative 36. And 36 minus 36 is 0. And so that falls into one category. It is 0. And that means there is 1 real root. And that is it. It's all it takes to do the discriminant.